Hey everyone. So in this video, I'm going to show how to install and build a Windows 2019 server. So first thing you need to do is get an ISO. So I've gone out to the Microsoft Evaluation Center and I've downloaded an ISO. You can see at the bottom left here of my screen. So that was step one, and I'll put the link to this in the chat area. So now I need to open up Hyper-V, which I installed and showed how to install in previous videos. So I'm just going to hit the start square and start typing Hyper-V and open that. And then on my host here, I'm going to right click and say new virtual machine. So the wizard will open up. I'll hit next. I'll start typing it out. So we'll do this one SRV 2019 and then A. All right, I want to store it in a different location and I'll just browse out. You can do default if you want, but I like to just put them all in a virtual machine folder that I've created. So I'll do that, select that folder, hit next. I'm going to make this a generation 2 so I get some of the UEFI and newer features. So generation 2, click next. I'll go ahead and say 4 gigs of startup RAM, and I will use dynamic memory though, so because I don't have a ton on this machine. I'll hit next. For a network connection, we'll go ahead and say default for this. We'll go ahead and let it NAT, and so I can get to some internet stuff. I'll hit next on this. I'll leave the name, that's fine, and location. We'll knock it down to a 100 gig hard drive. We don't need too much space on this, and I'll hit next. For the operating system, I'll go ahead and say, install an operating system, and I'll browse out to my desktop where I've got that ISO I downloaded, and I'll hit next. And then this will show you your choices that you made, and I'll hit finish so it can build my config here. So you see it there, so I'm gonna go ahead and right click and start it up. There we go, right click start. And then I'll right click again and say connect so I can see what's going on here at the console. And you're gonna have to hit a key really quick, and I've missed it because I didn't hit it quick enough. So what I'm gonna do is go to action up here, and I'm gonna hit Control Alt Delete, and then I'm gonna click into the screen real fast, and then hit a key. So that way, my mouse goes into the screen. So Control Alt Delete, click on the screen, hit the space bar. There you go. So now it'll start going. All right, so here's your menu to build this Windows 2019 server. I'll leave all that as default, English and US, hit next. I want to go ahead and install now, so I'll click that button. All right, so it gives you a couple choices here. They have standard and data center. They have the desktop experience and the regular. The regular that doesn't say anything is the GUI. Is the server core, sorry. The desktop experience is the GUI, and that's the one I want to go with here. So I'm gonna go with desktop experience, and I'm gonna hit next. All right, and you have your license, so just click the button down at the corner to accept it, hit next. We're not going to do an in-place upgrade. We're doing just a blank machine here, so we're going to do custom install Windows only at the bottom. And you see the 100 gigs there is selected, so I'm going to hit next. All right, and then it'll start building our files here. It doesn't take too long, but I'll go ahead and pause the video until it's finished. When it starts finishing up, it'll ask for reboot, so I'll unpause it right when it's finishing up and starting that reboot. Okay, so it's finished up and it's asking for the restart, so I'm going to go ahead and do the restart now. And because it's a virtual, it doesn't take too long, but what you may have to do is you may have to reconnect to it. So, and I find a lot of times I have to. So many times I'll just close the window, I'll right click back on the machine and connect again to it. There you go. So you can see it's restarting, getting the devices ready. And the first reboot sometimes takes a little longer because it's just getting everything ready for that first time. Shouldn't take too long there. There it goes. All right, so the reboot's finished. So now on the first boot, it asks you to go ahead and set the administrator password. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick a password. It's got to be a slightly complex password. Let me hit finish. and it'll ask you in Hyper-V just to set your size there. So I'll set my size for this machine. Go ahead and enter my password for the first boot here. I'll make it a little smaller so you can see it. All right, and first boot, it does set up that your profile for the first time. So you saw that little square up there. And there you go. You have a working server 2019, and it asks you for network, and I'll say, yeah, I'll allow this on the home network. That's fine. And server manager will load. And in future videos, I'll do some configuration on the server. I'll set some network cards, and I'll show you how to configure this. Thanks a lot.